Where's everybody this morning? Hi, Bill.
David, hello.
How was your
How are
week?
you this morning?
What?
How are you this morning?
Not too bad. I didn't sleep very well, but other than that, I'm okay. How was your week in
Happened.
the dunes?
We loved it. It was great.
Good.
Uh, yeah, it was overcast most when we got there on Saturday. It was raining pretty significantly, which makes the unloading your car into the truck and getting out in the sand and carrying stuff over, less than the ideal experience. But
Not
but
a lot of fun.
after Yeah, but after that, it was other than wet and sandy, so
Yeah.
it was not too cold, which was a good thing. So,
Yeah.
but
Good.
yeah, uh, it's always a good week, even when it's stormy all week. But it was just overcast, and which was nice because I tend to get sunburned and stuff. So, uh,
Good.
and
Good.
had a great time.
It looked like a nice cabin. Or
Yeah, that particular one is a little tighter. Actually, that one burned down about 10 or 12 years ago and they rebuilt it. They got the Park
oh,
Service to let them rebuild it. So it still looks shacky and they used old wood and stuff.
but it's newer.
But it's tight and
Well, that's good. Hi, Bill.
Good morning.
Morning. How
well,
are you this morning?
I will. I'm fine. I may have to interrupt toward the end. We're having the house power washed, so I'm not sure when he's going to show up. I told him after 10, but you know how that goes.
Yeah.
never had anybody show up early and
I have, so I'd have to say maybe Bill has a concern. But you're right, most of the time it's late.
Yeah.
yeah. Are the windows closed, Bill?
Yes. Yep. I just ran around doing that. How are you
Well,
doing, David?
I'm doing pretty well. I been having some trouble sleeping in the middle of the night, but other than that, um, I'm doing pretty well. I'm beginning to get a little bit of strength back. I'm still not back to where I was a couple of months ago,
Yep.
but I'm getting there little by little. Guess that's how it is at this age, little by little.
Yep.
It seems to be.
Good morning, Joanne.
Good morning. Apologies. I
Morning.
sat down early, but there's a small crisis in organizations I work with and had to read the incident report. Ay, 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 ay,
Indeed,
ay.
indeed.
So
Just
I will be here for this full class, but not able to really stay a lot past 10 to deal with
okay.
small crises. Sorry about that.
Well, that that's your life.
But yeah, anyway, it will get solved, but I'm not
Yeah,
doing it alone, but I gotta, yeah,
yeah.
check in with some people. So.
Uh, Bill Bynum, just because you are pretty good with all this stuff. Do you have any idea how to get rid of the black borders on my screen in Zoom? And
Black borders.
Mm.
well, if you look
Oh,
at
so it goes out all the way.
so that it
Interesting.
opens to full
Oh, I
screen.
see.
There's I'm not quite Are you just seeing it on part of your screen, or there's a
Well,
full screen option up in the upper right hand corner on mine?
What we're looking at, Bill, look at David's.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
David
Wow.
has it and the rest of us don't.
yeah.
No, are you using you're using a camera that's not in your computer?
No, I am, but this is the camera on the computer,
Oh.
and it's with either one of them. So it's a computer setting.
Yeah. Yeah, I do not know right off. I don't
Okay, I thought you might, but that's okay. So,
And you've hit full screen, you've done all that. Yeah,
yeah,
for
well,
sure.
I started researching on Zoom
Ugh.
support,
Good.
but I haven't
Going
found
down
it.
that rabbit hole. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know where Carol is, and I think
Well, Carol did write and say she couldn't
Yeah.
that's true. I think she did.
make it,
Yeah.
and I can't remember. Here, wait a minute, I've got it here. I'm going to have to miss this week's class. John and I have PT appointments at 10:30 in
Oh, right,
Lisbon.
right. And Adam, I presume, is as usual, and I am recording. So
You are. I noticed that.
let us begin.
Let us begin.
So, anyone arrive with questions or comments to start the day? Not a one. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think. Some of the things I'm thinking of, I think I said at the end of the last meeting. So that's,
Okay.
I won't repeat myself.
It's all right if you do, Joanne. Good.
I have
Anything?
a question, and I'm going to be lazy. Basically, I could go back and find the answer. What happens with the breathing in 5 and 6 that's different?
So, you're inhaling up the center and exhaling down in 5, and you're inhaling up the sides on 6 and exhaling down through the center.
Okay, that was easy.
Yeah, that was easy.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else for anybody? Okay. All right. Well, we're going to move on because we're actually, as I think I've indicated, we're getting kind of close to the end of this 4-year venture into God's. At least in terms of introducing anything new. We'll continue perhaps to do a little bit of practicing together and refining. But this is getting into incorporating inner dissolving into God's. So, both interdissolving with your physical body and anything else that happens to come up. Now, I would guess that from what we've done in this dissolving I'm sorry, I'm not getting that right. We've done in outer dissolving, you at least know what a blockage is. The four conditions: strength, tension, etc. But an energetic blockage is a subtle thing, and to truly feel it requires that you can feel the energy of the blockage itself, and and thereby tell if it's normal or not. The things about whether there is strength, tension, something that doesn't feel quite right, especially if you don't know what it is, and any type of contraction, are just mental marks to give you some idea about what might be a blockage. However, by the time you've gotten through the past 4 years, I'm hoping that you actually can recognize what an energetic blockage is for itself. Then you have the feeling of it, and you know the difference between whether you're blocked inside yourself or you're not blocked inside yourself. And if you are, you want to get rid of that blockage. So when you look at strength, tension, and the rest of them, that's the shadow of a blockage. That's just something that gives you an idea. But the shadow is not the thing itself. And the thing itself is, how does the energy inside you feel that there is something abnormal about it? There is something not resolved, or there is something that could make it a lot clearer. Now, you don't need to understand what you're feeling. You just need to recognize that you are experiencing some kind of something that is related to the 4 ways a shadow of all an energy blockage will show itself. You need to be able to recognize it. Now, at one level, excuse me, strength is your ego. Strength is stubbornness. Strength is the desire, or whatever it means, to need to have faith, which takes people through an entire life, including, quote unquote, you feel strongly, you feel you're right. And that is the thing in Western culture. Now, tension is 2 things fighting. Fighting inside yourself. Your body, vessels do that. But people often are not united inside. It's like one saying, I think, but. And anytime you have a but, you have tension. Even if you don't have a distinct but, you have something that's strong, something that's not allowing you to feel as though this is where I should be. And that can show up as tension. We all know stress is a fancy word for tension, and stress is killing everybody. But all it is tension. Now, something that doesn't feel quite right could just be things that you can't remember. But it also can be past karma. It also can be things that have happened to you, where you were when you were in the womb. It also continued to be things that happened to you during the years of a lot of blackout, like someone who is an alcoholic. Sometimes they go through a year or 2 or 3 and actually not even remember what happened during that period of time because they were not present to their life. They were not present to their body. And who knows what you picked up during that time and why it doesn't feel quite right. But it doesn't matter if you don't know why it's there. All that matters is that you get rid of it. Or as the Taoists have said for a long time, if you're on a torture table, you really care why they're torturing you or what the political context is, or do you just want to get off the table? So when you dissolve a blockage, you are getting off the table. So don't get distracted or sucked into all the little mental nonsense about why am I in this situation? Why did it happen to me? Blah, blah, blah. Why it happened to you is very simple. There's a star 35 years away from here, and when it turns to the right, people get into a good situation, and when it turns left, people get into a bad situation. You're not ever going to understand why the star does it or what it means. There is no why. There is just, this is the situation, and can you get rid of it or not? And then any sense of contraction. In one sense, from the point of view of spirituality, you could describe any blockage as a contraction. It's not completely open and free and spacious, and it can go anywhere and do anything. It is squashed into a specific type of form, and that form that it is squashed into, blah, da 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 da, and you think because you feel and act that da 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 that it's real. And frankly, it's all nonsense. It's all the sheer fact that you're contracting. So one way in many traditions that enlightenment is described is the absence of all contractions. That was one of the ways they described the Buddha, and that's one of the ways that Lao Tzu is described. Now there are several ways in which you could do inner dissolving during the 6 movements of gods. Which one you will do will depend on how much information or how many chi techniques your mind can activate simultaneously. Remember that inner dissolving is just one more of the 16 Neigong that have to be incorporated into your practice. On any day of practice, simply choose which inner dissolving method will not take you past your 70% limit. Remember, the one thing that's true when you're doing inner dissolving, you really have to stay within your 70% limit, because when you're beginning to feel a little bit of strain, you're never going to have any idea how much is actually possible to happen if you go forward. Because if you're feeling a little bit of strain, let's say in your unconscious mind, your subconscious, that could be the tip of a very big iceberg. So simply don't go there. At the most beginning level of gods, the way you practice inner dissolving is you start from the crown of your head and you will go down your body doing any form of dissolving blockage by blockage. If you can release anything, then take it all to the energy of the next one. If you can't dissolve and resolve it, take it to the energy of the next one. So drop the energy of what you can't release, and you go all the way down to below your feet at the end of your energy body. If you're doing the 6 methods of God, movements of gods, and you're doing everything else, the thing that you are starting to dissolve, you're just going to stay with it regardless of other Neigong that you're doing. It's not that at the end of movement 1, I will have dissolved down to here, and now I will go there and start from that point when you start your next practice. Generally, it's not uncommon that you don't get all the way down. You don't come to a resolution. And at the end of your practice, just take all the energy of that blockage and somehow, however you may really be able to do it, take it to your lower dantian and just let it sit. Just sit there until it dissipates. But the next day, when you do a practice, or the next time you do a practice, don't again start from the crown of your head. Don't go, oh, on Monday I got down to my throat notch, and on Tuesday I'm going to start from that point and go down. That's not the way it's done. Now the next way of doing inner dissolving is that whatever you're practicing, if you have some blockage or something that is really taking over your mind, as an example, your divorce or the birth of someone or somebody dying, you can start there. If you do that, the practice you're going to do from doing God's will be moving on from here boop, boop. Let's try that again. If you do that, the practice you're going to do from doing God's will be moving on down from there, from that point. You could do that while you are doing anything where you are moving, walking, doing whatever. God's is just a format that will enable you to learn how to really and truly dissolve and move energy through your channels, so you get as close to the best result that you're ever going to get. So you go to the one thing that is bothering you, and somehow you feel that that's a blockage in your heart or your knee or your eye, wherever it is. And you start from that place and you just dissolve that until it goes to the end. And whenever you get a resolution, then you go lower down your body. So we're going to do a practice where I want you to do a full flow of God's, and this time I'm going to talk quite a bit, but we'll do this again and I'll not talk so much. But
That's good when you talk, David. Full flow meaning you want a repetition of 20?
yes.
You look-
So keep in mind that at this stage of the game, you're just going to practice what is good for you. Also, there is now no teaching you how to do movements. You've learned those previously. So stand. And one thing I'll say is that if you finish your flow and I'm still talking, feel free to close and sit down. You don't have to keep standing there. So step into Wu Jibu. Make sure you've allowed yourself to relax into your basic structure. And breathe. And extend your mind through your body. Feel inside your body. And then begin your flow of God's. Now, starting from the crown of your head, if you feel a blockage inside your physical body, begin using downward dissolving only. You can dissolve it using the energy of your Neigong components to energize your ability to dissolve that blockage. So you have your mind on the blockage. Your mind is trying to dissolve ice to water, water to inner space. Trying to take it to emptiness. But also, when you feel what that blockage is, you now can take all the internal energy components of God's and have it move into that blockage to help you dissolve it faster and more smoothly. So that the energy of your whole body and your whole mind are now targeted inside that blockage that you're dissolving. Since you've been doing God's long enough, Your body knows how to do the movements. It has established these energetic techniques inside you. But the point is that whatever energy that it is producing goes into that blockage. And it may be that just naturally you'll feel all I need to do is this Neigong technique. And that's helping you open up the blockage better. And that's fine. Or if you put a little more focus on that Neigong technique, it's going to open up that blockage a little bit better. And that's fine. Just go for what's getting the result. You can use the energy of your Neigong components to energize your ability to dissolve that blockage. Just do downward dissolving continuously from the first movement of the form forward, and continue to the lower Dantian as best you can by the conclusion of your set. Or if you don't get to your lower Dantian, continue doing another round of gods, continuing from where you left off, until hopefully you can reach the lower Dantian and complete resolving your blockage into emptiness. In each practice session, you dissolve a blockage until you reach the resolution and go to emptiness. And then stay in the emptiness space. So let's just say for the moment that you're now arriving at the conclusion of a successful blockage resolution. As you resolve the blockage, at first the blockage is just going to seem to get bigger and bigger in space. And then suddenly something's going to happen, and it is going to go poof. And you're going to find yourself in emptiness. How strong or how weak the emptiness is completely up to you. And you just stay in this, giving your system the time to integrate it into anything that's in your body. Whether it has to do with your chi or other blockages. And then you're going to end up at a decision point where one of two things is going to happen. When you have this emptiness, you're getting into it. Your system is going to just seem to expand, to almost seem like instead of being inside your body, the inside of your body feels like it's as big as a castle. And you hang out there. And when you get this expansion, the recommendation has always been enjoy it. We go through enough crap in our lives And these blockages have caused you enough nonsense that when you actually get rid of them, enjoy it. When your chains are taken off, just enjoy the state of not having any chains. Then after some period of time, one of two things is going to occur. You will naturally shrink back to the point you were before you were working on the blockage. It just feels normal. Now here things bifurcate. You go one of two directions. If you have the time, and if you know how long it takes to just get rid of blockages, what will start happening is that in the now normalized space of the blockage, things will start buzzing. It will be as though something is buzzing, and that will be what is located at the next deeper layer of the blockage. So now you have one of two choices. Number one, you can go for dissolving the next layer of the blockage, understanding that that could take you 2, 3, 4 times as long as it took you to resolve the original blockage. Or number two, you can take the energy of that blockage and the buzzing and move it to the next lower blockage in your body. Whether it's horizontal, going around, or whether it's dropping lower down. Either one, it's up to you. Then you begin all over again. Ice to water, water to inner space. And you'll do this until you reach your lower dantian. Now, if you decide to dissolve it, great. Keep on dissolving the blocked point until it resolves into emptiness. Then stay in that open space and enjoy the internal feeling that you are feeling for the second time until it goes dormant and shrinks back to normal. Keep dissolving the blocked point until you get a resolution. And if you go to a resolution for the third time, don't try and do a fourth. Just keep in mind that sometimes you could be doing a God set for a couple of hours. However, very few get to dissolving it a third time. That's mostly occurs in people doing seated meditation. The longest it ever took Bruce to do it was 6 hours. But no one can tell. It's completely individual. The determining factor is not going to be you are better or worse at doing it. It's just going to be exactly how much blocked energy was in that layer of your system. And there is no way for you to know unless you can know the sum total of all your accumulated karma. And then next you continue to interdissolve the same point. While you do your next practice. Let's just say you finish Gods and you are still dissolving downward. You haven't gotten all the way down to your lower Dantian. You then continue this inner dissolving at the exact same point while you do your next practice, regardless of whether it's Tai Chi, Bagua, sitting meditation, Tao Yoga, or even if you're doing sexual practice. Whatever it is, you would just continue. Moving through the continuum, clearing whatever it is that's blocked inside your system until you get a resolution. And then continue as normal toward your lower Dantian. Then, if you didn't get all the way down, gently take your chi to your lower Dantian and stabilize it until it becomes calm and clear. And so that may be the end of your Gods, or the end of your Tai Chi or Bagua or yoga or some form of Qigong or whatever it is. But if you truly do the thing and you have the time, the object is that once you start really awakening in Gods, take it to the conclusion. If you can, to the result in emptiness. But if you can't, that's all right. Bring everything into your lower Dantian and somehow close everything up so that you feel your energy inside you. And then go on to what's happening for the rest of your day. Now, something that is worth mentioning here at the end of this 4 years is that in the beginning of this program, there was a whole series of Taoist meditation methods that are meant to link with each of the lessons of Gods. They're not linked in a linear form. They're linked as you are processing in Gods. If you really want to do meditation, these are things that are useful to practice in understanding that link between why you're doing this in Gods and why you're doing it in sitting meditation. It may not be that clear, but there actually is a clear linkage. It is about opening up your mind and your body so it is able to resolve what's inside you. Now, some people have a strong interest in meditation, in which case I would strongly recommend you do the meditation as the beginning of this program. But if your thing is not meditation, you don't have to do it. There is no thing that the master said you must do it. But if you have that natural interest and meditation, the master would strongly recommend that you do it. And also there are some people who actually prefer to focus on these meditations and not really do that much of God's. And that's fine too. Now, as you're doing this, remember what you're doing. While doing everything, we have learned in gods. The one that you want to make very, very sure of is that the space below your feet and the space above your head, those two energetic points, stay absolutely stable while you're doing gods. Using the reverse breathing and the bending and bowing of your spine as the metronome for all the opening and closings in your system. When your spine bows, let it close all your joints. Bend your arms and legs, and as your spine opens and straightens out, let it open all your joints, your internal organs, and anything else you are able to be aware of, such as the spine and the opening and closing of the lower dantian, and the opening and closing of your joints. It will become one thing where there is no sense of any one of them being ahead or behind the other ones. Well, now when you do 7 movements of gods, it's very important that you have a sense that the space below your feet and above the crown of your head are connected to a golden thread, a sense of this whole thing that connects them both. And it is this whole thing that is rotating. So as you turn in each direction in 7 and your neck bends, let that open up the back of your spine, or the front of your spine, or the sides of your spine. So that the bending and moving of your head and your spine becomes a whole body phenomena. Not just it's that your neck or your spine or your legs or your arms are rotating. So how do you get the opening and closing, the bending and stretching to cause the tissues of your body to rotate and twist your arms, your legs, and as you get better, you feel it inside your abdomen. And just as though that causes your feet to sort of screw into the ground to maintain your stability, let it also kind of screw into the top of your head, so that that screwing into the top of your head goes all the way down to your feet and keeps your body very, very stable. Now, what's also very important is that as you make your circle, remember you're seeing from inside your head. So that means that at no point in doing the circles do you want your eyes to bulge out of your head, or do you want your eyes to suddenly open up wide and dilate, because that will throw your internal balance off. And that's also a sign that the motion of your spine and your brain are not interacting with the rest of your body. And you want it to be one piece with everything else. Let all the thoughts in your mind go. Nothing exists except turning your spine and your neck. The inside of your head becomes empty. No thoughts, just the sense of open space. Let all the tension in your brain release until the tension leaves your brain entirely. And then you close. So there's a few things to think about.
Yeah.
Any questions? How did it go trying to dissolve as you did God's?
I think it was challenging trying to listen to you and dissolve while doing God. So I think what
Yep.
I would like to do is listen to you, just listen to the recording, right? Not trying to absorb it more and then go back
Yeah,
and try to dissolve. Yeah, I found it a bit challenging in that way.
that's why I said we'll do this again without me talking so much.
Yeah, no, but the talking is very helpful, and I will listen to the talking because I think we need all that much part of
Yeah,
it.
there's a lot of good things there.
There's a lot of good things. I could tell that. I could feel that. I could hear that. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Bill?
I will say it was a very calm practice for me. And I did feel relaxed, but I don't think relaxed and dissolving are quite the same. They may be in the neighborhood, but but I did feel very fluid and relaxed, and I didn't have a blockage, which of course everybody sometimes has, blockages that seem to be in the way. Um, but I wasn't really, going down through and trying to identify blockages so much because I was feeling so fluid. But
Yeah. Well, eventually you want to really be able to do that, to be aware of the blockages at whatever level in your body. So um, they aren't obviously they aren't always very obvious. Sometimes they're extremely subtle.
well, I figure there must be blockages because I still don't feel that flow of the chi coming up. So there must be something in between that happening and my awareness that
We can't have gotten to this age,
very
Bill,
subtle at
without
this point.
yeah, we,
Yeah.
Without
we
blockages.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've got plenty of them if we open to feeling them. Anything for you, Mr. Nagel?
Well, the dissolving really, in my experience, requires a lot of my attention. And as Julian said, listening and trying to absorb what you were saying, just sort of intermittently got in the way of that. So
Yeah,
I did some dissolving, and then it floated away, and then I got back on it, etc. But I didn't move it. I think I did some good, but I didn't move it very far.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this week, as you're endeavoring to practice this, I think what Joanne said is good. I mean, listen to the recording or read the notes, but in doing the practice, focus on that.
Yep.
Um, so good.
Good.
Give you something to work with this week.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
A little something.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
I don't want you to be bored, guys.
Oh, yeah, right. That's a big worry of mine.
Not for you, Joanne.
Yeah.
You've got too much already.
Well, yeah, we're cooking for like 75 people for the weekend for 6 meals. So
Oh, God.
it's a group we've cooked for since 1977. So it's like
Yeah.
a group we helped start, but still, It's a lot of work. The older you
It
get,
is.
the harder it is. The more grandchildren you have to pile in to help you carry things.
Good.
heavy soup pots and the like.
Get them working.
Anyway, it works. We pay them.
Good.
Anyway,
Okay.
good.
Thank you.
Very good. Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
All
Have
right.
a good week.
See you too. You too. Bye-bye.
Have
Bye.
a good week. Yep. Bye.